Hello and welcome everyone to another biology class of Fun Scholar. I, Shushmita ma'am, am back again with yet another chapter from Standard 6, and that is Beyond Earth. This chapter is found mainly under CBSE board. So in this chapter, from the name itself, it is quite understood that it will deal with other celestial bodies apart from Earth. We know that in our solar system, there are 7 other planets other than Earth. And we also have the biggest star that we know, that is the Sun. So in this chapter, mainly we are going to talk about our neighbors. Neighbors means the other planets, then Sun, from which we get the main source of light energy, and then we will talk about other members of the solar system such as comets, meteors and asteroids. This is a very interesting chapter which mainly deals with space. And as we know, space is such a subject that has never failed to intrigue the mind of the human beings. So here in this chapter, let's unfold the mystery of this universe. And with this, let us begin this chapter. This is the lesson agenda, or to put it in simple words, this is the content of the chapter, which shows the basic topics that we are going to deal with. We'll deal with stars and constellations, the terrestrial and gaseous planets, asteroids and comets, and also the Milky Way galaxy and the entire universe. Now, coming to the introduction first, the astronomers who basically deal with space, they have worked tirelessly to uncover the mysteries of our universe, and they continue to do so. Their journey is never ending because the universe is always in the state of change, and therefore the discoveries that they keep on unraveling, that will never end. Their collective efforts have not only deepened our understanding of our own world but also opened our eyes to the wonders of countless others beyond it. That means they have actually figured out the science or the logic behind the worldly phenomena which basically take place on earth, and now along with that simultaneously they are also working behind the other phenomenon taking place on other planets or in our neighboring planets and also in the solar system. So first thing that we are going to learn is about the stars. Stars, we know they appear twinkling in the night sky. They are very far away from us. They are far away from the other planets also, and the nearest star is, we know that for us is the sun, and the next nearest star second to the sun is the Proxima Centauri. This is the star which is the nearest apart from the sun. So we'll know more about the stars and the story of stars from this video. So let's watch it and then we'll continue the discussion.
Let's talk about stars. What do we know about stars? From our previous topic, we mentioned that stars are celestial objects that occupy space. They are luminous in nature, or in other words, produce their own light. Hang on, produce their own light? Where have we heard that before? If you have seen our previous lesson, Can you guess which other celestial object produces their own light? If your answer is the sun, you are absolutely right. People sometimes consider the sun as a planet because it's a very large celestial object. This is a totally wrong concept. The sun is considered as a star because it has the same property as a star. It emits its own light. Do stars appear only in the night? It appears in the night as well as the day. But we are not able to see it because just like moon, the stars cannot be seen because of the sunlight. But if the sun is considered a star, how come the other stars are not at the same viewable distance as the sun? Do you have any idea how far a star would be from the earth? Let's see an example. Person A is standing here at this position. Person B is standing 150 kilometers away from person A. Now, if we multiply it into million kilometers, which makes it 150 million kilometers, we get the distance of the sun from the earth. And the sun is millions of kilometers away from the stars. From this concept, you can see why we see the stars as tiny shining objects. But we still didn't answer our question on how far a star would be from the earth. The distance is quite large actually. It's so large that we would need to express a unit where it doesn't involve a large numerical. This is where light year comes in. What is a light year? It's a really simple concept. It is defined as the distance traveled by light in 1 year. Do you know how much distance light covers in 1 second? Is it a three-figure number or a four-figure number? Take a guess. It's actually a six-figure number. Or to be more precise, 300,000 kilometers in 1 second. Wow, it really is an amazing concept. That's the distance light travels in 1 second. So can you tell me how much distance light travels in 1 minute? Easy. Just multiply this with 60 and get the answer as 80 million kilometers. This is the distance light will travel in 1 minute. With this, we can say that the distance of the Earth from the Sun is almost 8 light minutes. And guess what? There are stars which are said to be 1,000 light years away, and other stars are said to be less than 20 light years away from us. Did you notice what we said? Light years. The Sun is just 8 light minutes away from the Earth, and stars are light years away. But anyway, we just have to know that they are really, really far. So how do the stars move from our point of view? We see it usually rising from the east in the evening and setting in the west in the morning. So does that mean they actually move from the east to the west? Let's do an example. Say a boy is riding his cycle. He passes by buildings and shops. So in this case, is the boy moving or are the buildings moving past him? Yes, the boy is moving while the buildings are obviously stationary. In the same way, the Earth is actually the thing moving along its axis from west to east direction, making the stars look like they're moving from east to west when they are actually the ones not moving. Hang on, what is that star on the Earth's northern hemisphere axis? That is the pole star. It is the star that is closely aligned to the Earth's axis. We will learn a bit more about it in the coming videos.
So basically, here in the video, we have watched that the composition of the star is that they are made up of gases. Now, if you talk about the sun, so inside the sun, what is the reason for its self-illumination? The reason for its self-illumination is that the hydrogen atoms are always combining together to form helium. And in this process, they are giving out light and heat energy. Similar thing happens inside other stars as well. They are stationary and they are made up of mainly gases, and they are far from us. And as you have already learned from this video, the distance of sun from earth. So therefore, I can say that the ray of the sun, the sunlight, needs about 8 minutes to reach the surface of the earth. So that means by the time you observe the first ray of the sun, so be sure that ray has been already emitted from the sun about 8 minutes ago. So this is the time that is taken by a sun ray to travel from sun to earth. Now the night sky comes alive with countless twinkling stars, each one a distant sun, creating a breathtaking and enchanting display. Acha, before watching the video, I also mentioned another star which is nearest to us, and the name was Proxima Centauri. So this is the star which is, we can say, the nearest. Other than the sun, this is the nearest star to us. Shooting stars. What are shooting stars? So, shooting stars we often see sometimes in the night sky. It seems that some stars, they are falling from the sky at a very high speed, leaving behind, and they are falling with a trail of light. So they are termed as shooting star. So what are these shooting stars? They are not really stars, but they are actually the meteors. The shooting stars are actually the meteors. They are the fragments or the particles of some of the celestial bodies that have been destroyed, and when they enter the earth's atmosphere, so due to the friction they catch fire, and then they, due to the gravity, they fall on the surface of the earth, and when they catch fire, and along with the fire they fall on the surface from the sky, so then it is seen like the shooting star. Many people believe that if it is a very rare event, so if you observe the shooting star and then and there you pray by closing your eyes, it's just a belief, then whatever you pray for, that will come true. So sometimes it depends upon the individual's belief, but actually if you want to know the logic or the science behind this, the science is that they are the fragments of the celestial bodies which have caught fire after they have gone through the frictional force by entering the earth's atmosphere, and they have caught fire, and then they fall from the sky and they appear glowing. Now nebula. Nebula is termed as the birth of a star. And what is this nebula? This is a collapsing gas clouds. So therefore, it is actually a large gas cloud from which it is believed that stars are born. When the nebula splits, then it is termed that stars are born. So this is the birth of a star. And what happens when stars the stars also have got a particular lifespan, to be precise. So after that particular lifespan, the star, there are many phases of in the lifespan of a star that we will study in the higher classes, and but they finally turn into a supernova. The dying star, that is the dying star, and finally it is believed that they turn into the black holes. So there are many theories regarding that. There are some of the contradictory theories as well. But the main thing is that is accepted is that nebula, that is the collapsing gas cloud, is the mother of star, and supernova is the dying star, is the end stage or the old stage of a star. Now there is another video which will talk about constellations. So what is a constellation? If I would like to define constellation in the simplest of the terms, it is a group of stars forming a particular pattern in the sky. Right? A group of stars forming a particular pattern in the sky, and that is only a constellation. So constellation, you will see that there are many constellations. Some are very popular, such as the Saptarshi or the Usha Major constellation and the Orion constellation. Now, as you have already known from the previous video of the stars, that the earth is rotating, right? Now the stars are fixed, they are not moving anywhere. Now accordingly, we know that the position of the earth also changes around the sun because it is orbiting around the sun. So likewise, the position changes in the winter season and in the summer season. So in the winter season, the earth is away from the sun, or we can say that according, there are also hemispherical changes or hemispherical contradiction that will come to later on. But as of now, we need to understand that during the winter season, what happens, the position of the earth is different than the position of the earth around the sun in the summer season. Accordingly, the constellation which can be visualized in the winter season will be different from the constellations which will be visualized in the summer season, because the position of the earth in the night sky has changed. Accordingly, the whatever constellation you will be able to visualize during the winter season, you won't get them during the summer season, and vice versa. Okay, according to the position of the earth, the constellations are visible to us. Now let's watch this video and know about some of the popular constellations.
In our previous lesson, we have covered the concept of stars. Stars basically surround us like a blanket in the night. Hey, look over there. Do you see a group of stars? It looks so bright and shiny. But wait, if you look carefully, it looks like the stars have formed a pattern. Can you see what it looks like? Yes, it looks like a car. Now that is really interesting. You're probably wondering if it's possible for stars to form such a shape. Well, maybe not a car, but it is possible for stars to form a pattern that we recognize. And we have a name for such groups. They are called constellations. There are some known constellations named by ancient astronomers. One such is the Ursa Major. This constellation forms the shape of a ladle or a question mark. There are three alternative names for this constellation: the Great Bear, the Big Dipper, and Saptarshi. Pick whichever name you want to call this constellation, but Ursa Major is the main name for this one. The number of stars forming this constellation is totally 7 in number. Three of them form the handle of the ladle and four for the bowl. Do you remember the pole star that we mentioned in the previous lesson? Yes, it is situated along the axis of the Earth. Well, what if I told you that you can detect where the star is using the Ursa Major? Let's see how. Do you see the two stars at the end of the constellation? Now, let's try and form an imaginary line to the northern side of these two stars. Let's make this 5 times the distance than the distance between the two stars. Now, if you look clearly at one star that isn't as luminous as the constellation stars, that's your pole star. Another famous constellation is the Orion. This constellation can be seen during the late evenings of the winter season. It is said to be one of the most magnificent and recognizable constellations, and looking at this, I'm sure you wouldn't disagree with that. It consists of 7 or 8 luminous stars. Its alternative name is the Hunter. I'm sure you're wondering why it's called the Hunter. That's because this constellation forms the pattern of a hunter, and these 3 bright stars represent the belt of the hunter. The other 4 bright stars form a quadrilateral. There is a star in the sky which is said to be the brightest star in the night sky. This star is called the Sirius. Although it is the brightest star, you may have some trouble finding it. Not to worry, because the Orion will be able to help you with that. Do you remember the 3 stars that shape the belt of the hunter? Well, just imagine a straight line passing through the 3 middle stars of Orion. This line will go towards the eastern direction. Hey, we found a really bright star, which is the Sirius. Another constellation is the Cassiopeia. This constellation is named after a queen called Cassiopeia of a Greek mythology. The constellation is even given the pattern of the queen. It appears in the winter season in the early night and forms a distorted W or M. One thing we should keep in mind is that these few stars are not the whole part of the constellation. They have large number of stars as seen here, but we only observe these few stars because, well, they are bright compared to the other stars.
I hope you got amused by knowing about so many constellations. And next time you look up at the night sky, you will try to find out some of them. Okay, so here is the definition that I have already explained before the video, that constellation is a group of stars that form a pattern in the night sky, each with its own unique name. And the popular names you have already watched in the video. Now, Earth rotates on its axis once in every 24 hours, and that is why one day is composed of 24 hours only, including day and night. And just as I told you, Earth's rotation impacts how we view constellation. So not only Earth's rotation, but as I explained before the video, Earth revolution around the sun also impacts which constellation we are going to view in which season of the year. So see, according to the rotation in 24 hours, according to the different time, you can view the different position of the constellation. So the same constellation, you can see the pattern is the same. But at 6 a.m., you will observe that a particular constellation here. At 12 a.m., you will observe it here. And at 6 p.m., you will observe it here, according to the rotation of the earth. Acha, diurnal motion means the day and night motion as the earth rotates in 24 hours. The stars seem to move across the night sky, and just like the east to west movement, which they have already explained in the previous video, that it seems like the stars are moving from east to west direction, but when actually the earth is moving from west to east direction. Just like the sun, which also appears to travel from east to west during the daytime. Zodiac. One set of constellations visible along Earth's elliptical orbit belongs to the zodiac. These constellations are the foundation for zodiac science and astrology. Yes, of course. We know if you count over here, there are 12 zodiac signs in astrology, and it is very common. Some believe in it, some don't believe in it, but at least we all are aware of these things. We always, those who believe often are interested to know the zodiac signs of others, that you are from which zodiac sign. And zodiac sign depends on the time at which you were born, and that zodiac, according to that zodiac sign only, the calculation of astrology is done for the entire life of a person. So the zodiac sign is not change for the rest of your life. So the zodiac sign which was visible in the night sky when you were born, maybe you were born during daytime, but at that time, due to the sun's light, that particular constellation was not visible to us, but that constellation was still present in the night sky, and that zodiac sign will then be entitled according to your personality, right? So therefore, here are the 12 zodiac signs, and they are nothing but the constellations only. So for starting from the top, that is given over here: Sagittarius, then Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, then Libra, and finally Scorpio. So according to the, and here you can see this is the central position. The sun is occupied, the central position is occupied by the sun, and the earth is rotating or revoluting or evolving around the sun. And accordingly, as I said, in different seasons, different or in different seasons of the year, different constellations will be visible. Similarly, according to your time of birth and time of birth in terms of the season also, that means in which month of the year you are born and in which date, and also the time, now during that particular time of your birth which constellation was present. So accordingly, that will be your zodiac sign. Acha. Check for understanding what will be the approximate position of the constellation in 5 hours. So here the time is given. So what will happen after 5 hours? Means if I add 5 years over here, so it will be 6 am. So they have asked what will be the probable position of the constellation at 6 am. So we already know that the stars appear from Earth's point of view. The stars will appear from the east and will move towards the west. So obviously after 5 hours it will move to A. So here they have mentioned D according to the position of the sky. That according to the position of the sky, the east to west rotation, they have mentioned that the position of the constellation will be this side. The International Astronomical Union IAU, they have defined so far 88 official constellations which have been recognized in the early 20th century, dividing the entire sky into distinct regions. Distinct regions means this is the particular region which is actually covered by the Orion or the Hunter. This particular region is covered by Taurus. So they have their own localizations in the sky. So that is dividing the entire sky. So far 88 official constellations have been recognized. Acha. Then is nakshatra in Indian astronomy. Nakshatra refers to the specific star or star groups. So nakshatra means if a particular star in the constellation group. So the constellation is a group of star. Nakshatra is actually the Hindi term for star. So a particular star in the constellation is known as the nakshatra. For example, Adra means Betelgeuse in Orion. Kritika Nakshatra means the Pleiades in Taurus, and Rohini Nakshatra means Aldebaran in Taurus. So particular nakshatra, here also the nakshatras have got astrological significance because each and every person is born under a particular nakshatra, just like a particular zodiac sign. What is Big and Little Dipper? So that you have already watched in the video also, that Big Dipper refers to Saptarshi Mandal because it is constituted by 7 stars. It is a constellation of 7 stars, and it is also known as Ursa Major. And Little Dipper or Ursa Minor is another constellation which includes the pole star. So pole star is also termed as Dhruv Tara and in the local language, and pole star is a particular nakshatra, and this Little Dipper lies in Ursa Minor and includes the pole star. Next is light pollution. Light pollution means when we are unable to properly visualize the night sky because there are so many lights in the particular in the cities, because we know in the villages and the towns the number of street lights are quite less in number as compared to that in cities or in metropolitan cities, more so. So due to that you will see that even at night also the stars are not properly visible. There are so many lights from the streets also, the unnecessary lights also, they are switched on. So therefore, until and unless it is absolutely dark, you won't be able to spot the star that you are looking for. So light pollution is rapidly increasing, hindering our ability to study and enjoy the night sky. Dark sky reserves and parks help preserve dark skies for research, while organizations work to raise awareness about reducing light pollution. Light is required for the safety and also for making our nightlife easy. But at the same time, unnecessary use of light will also aggravate this light pollution and will make sky gazing or sky observation activity a failure, because as I said, if they are just like the stars cannot be seen properly during the daytime due to excess light of the sun. So similarly at night also, even if in the absence of sun, if there is so much light, then we cannot visualize the particular star or the particular constellation. Now next, after stars we are going to deal with planets. Planets we know are of two types: the rocky planets or the terrestrial planets and the gaseous planets. So rocky planets are the four planets which are close to the sun. So what are they? Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. These four are the terrestrial planets. They are made up of rocks, they have a solid surface, and they are close to the sun. Then we have got, after these four planets in the series, we have got a belt of asteroids. Then after or beyond that belt of asteroid, we have got another set of four gaseous planets, and those are these four are called gaseous planets or gaseous giants. They are mostly made up of gases, and their size is way more, or their size is quite colossal as compared to the size of the terrestrial planets. They are quite huge and very very large beyond our imagination, and how large that we will study now one by one after watching this video, but they are quite huge as compared to the terrestrial planets. So they lie beyond the asteroid belt. Now let's watch this video to know more about this planet types.
What their properties are. The first one is Mercury. Now, this planet is the closest planet to the Sun and it is also the smallest planet in our solar system. Now, since it is the closest planet to the Sun, what their properties are. The first one is Mercury. Now, this planet is the closest planet to the Sun and it is also the smallest planet in our solar system. Now, since it's really close to the Sun, it would be really hard to observe it from our skies during the day. However, there is a way to view it. Just wait for the sunset or sunrise time near the horizon and you'll be able to catch it fully. Just make sure there are no buildings or mountains in the way. There are no moons revolving around Mercury. The second one is Venus. This planet is close enough to our planet Earth that we could call it our neighbor. It is also known to be the brightest planet to be seen in the night sky. So where can we view Venus? Try to look out for it in the western sky after sunset. It's because of this kind of appearance that it's been given the name morning star or evening star, even though it is not a star. It also rotates completely opposite from the way the Earth rotates around its axis. The Earth rotates from west to east, meaning Venus rotates from the east to the west. Venus has no moons revolving around it. Let's quickly review what we learned about Mercury and Venus. Mercury is the closest, smallest, and has no moons revolving around it. And Venus is the Earth's nearest neighbor, the brightest planet, rotates around its axis from east to west, and has no moons revolving around it. The third one is Earth. This planet is a very special planet. Any guesses why? Yes, it's special because one, we live in this very planet. Two, we get to live and breathe on this planet because of the special environmental conditions that exist here. Like the heat we get from the sun, the water, a comfortable atmosphere, and thankfully, an ozone layer that protects us from the sun's ultraviolet rays. The only reason you can see the Earth as a green-blue color from space is because of the reflection of the water and the mass of land. We already know that the Earth's axis is tilted and not perpendicular to the plane of the orbit. It is due to this that we are able to get different types of seasons like winter, summer, autumn, and spring. The Earth has only one moon. Yes, the very same moon we see in the night. The fourth one is Mars. This planet is the first one outside the Earth's orbit. This planet has been nicknamed the Red Planet because of its reddish appearance. Why does it look reddish? It does so because of the rusty color of its soil. Mars has two tiny natural satellites around it. What's the fifth one? It's Jupiter. This is known to be the biggest planet in the solar system. In fact, it is so large that you can actually place 1,300 Earths in this massive planet. What about its mass? Its mass is said to be 318 times that of the Earth. It also rotates at a super fast speed around its axis. And now we come to the most interesting point. Jupiter is said to have the largest amount of satellites. If you want to observe it, you can easily see it in the night sky with its moons due to its brightness. The sixth one is Saturn. It is said to be yellowish in color. This planet is unique from the other planets appearance-wise because of its beautiful rings. However, you can't see them with your naked eyes. You need to use a telescope for this. It is also said to be the least dense planet amongst all. Its density is even said to be less than that of water, which means it will float in water. And just like Jupiter, Saturn too has a large number of satellites. The seventh and the eighth one are Uranus and Neptune. So why did I mention these two planets at the same time? Well, it is because that these two planets are considered as the outermost planets in our solar system. The planets nearest to the Sun, like Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, are called inner planets, and they have the least amount of moons. The planets outside of the orbit of Mars, which are Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, are called outer planets and are said to have the most amount of moons. Now, coming back to Uranus, like Venus, Uranus is also said to rotate from east to west around its axis. And speaking of its axis, it is completely tilted to a point where it appears to be sideways, making Uranus rotate from up to down instead of left to right. Neptune, the eighth and the last planet, is the farthest planet in the solar system. Its appearance is bluish and, like mentioned before, is said to have many moons. That's all we need to know about the planets for now. We shall talk about the other types of celestial bodies in our solar system in the next lesson.
Quite interesting, right? So from this video, you have known about some of the basic properties of each of the planets of our solar system. I know that you have already known about the names also of these planets from your lower classes. But it is more interesting to know as you go deeper to know the details, especially of some of the planets which have got some unique properties such as the rings of the Saturn, then the largest size of the Jupiter. So all these things will actually enthrall us more as we know about them. So the first four planets, as I already mentioned before watching this video, are termed as terrestrial planets because they have got a rocky surface, while the four planets beyond the asteroid belt is termed as gaseous planets because they are mostly made up of different types of gas. Now, next we have another video of the solar system. Now, the solar system is not only composed of the planets, the solar system is composed of the stars, the planets, the asteroids, comets, meteors, moons, all these things. Right? So it is actually the aggregation of all these members of by which we are like a family. The solar system is a family, and Earth is a member of this solar system family. So apart from Earth, we are going to study about other family members also in this chapter. So let's know about this family as a whole from this video, and then we'll discuss more.
What comes to our mind when we think of the solar system? What do the words solar and system even mean here? Solar means relating to or determined by the sun. And system? System means a set of things working together as a part of a mechanism. When we put these two definitions together, what do we get? We get a set of things working together as part of a mechanism determined by the sun, which, in other words, is the solar system. So, what are these things that work together? I think we mentioned in our past video about the space being occupied by celestial objects like planets, meteors, meteorites, asteroids, and stars like the sun itself. These celestial objects orbit around the sun. Why do you think that is the case? This is due to the gravitational attraction between the sun and the objects. But here's another question. Why is it that these objects orbit around the sun and not the other way around? Can you guess why? If you remember our lesson on gravity, it is the light mass objects that are attracted to large mass objects. The sun, being the largest mass object in the system, attracts the other objects, which are of small mass compared to the sun, which is why they orbit around it. Let's learn more about a certain group of these celestial objects that are called planets. Now, how do we identify a planet? Is it different from other celestial bodies like the stars? If so, what are the differences? Planets actually have the same appearance as stars, but the factor that differentiates them from each other is that planets do not emit light of their own, while stars produce their own light. They also do not twinkle like stars do. Do planets travel in a specified path? Yes, planets orbit around the sun, each with its different paths, but in the same circular motion. Speaking of orbit, how do you measure the time taken for a planet to complete one revolution around the sun? It is called a period of revolution. The more distant a planet is from the sun, more will be the period of revolution. In other words, distant planets take more time to complete a revolution, while the closer one takes less time to complete it. It's kind of obvious because the circumference will be much more as the radius is more. Planets also rotate along their axis. We can also measure the time taken for a planet to complete one rotation. Can you guess what this measurement is called? That's right. We call it the period of rotation. choose from other celestial bodies. How many planets are there in the solar system and what are they called? There are officially 8 planets in the solar system: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Earlier, kids grew up learning about 9 planets in the solar system. But in 2006, the International Astronomical Union ultimately decided to call Pluto a dwarf planet, reducing the list of real planets to 8. These planets have their own moon, just like how we have our own moon, except some have more than one. Speaking of the moon, did you know that the moon is actually a satellite? You're probably thinking, how can moon be a satellite? Like, is it transmitting signals to our TV and radio? No, it's nothing of that sort. You're thinking about artificial satellites. We'll talk about that in another lesson. But again, the moon is not that kind of satellite. Let's see what it means then. A satellite is a celestial body revolving around another celestial body. Since the moon is traveling around the Earth, we consider the moon to be a satellite of our Earth. Let me ask you a question now. Is the Earth a satellite to the Sun? If your answer is yes, then you're right. Since the Earth revolves around the Sun, the Earth is a satellite to the Sun. We shall now cover the different types of planets in the next lesson.
So now you know why the family in which earth is a member is called the solar system, because sun is the head of the family. You can call it that, the core member around which all the other members revolve. And as stated by the law of gravitation, that the other members are quite smaller in size as compared to that of the sun, and so they revolve around the sun. Hence the name of the family is after the name of the head, that is the solar system. The sun is a glowing hot ball of gases and the closest star to earth and the main source of heat and light. I have already mentioned these points when I started the discussion about this chapter. It is about 100 times the earth's diameter but appears small due to its vast distance. So we have already watched in the video that the distance is 8 light minutes. The sun is about 150 million kilometers from earth and it is called the astronomical unit, which is used to measure distances within the solar system. So within the solar system, this distance, that is the 150 million kilometer, is termed as one astronomical unit. So according to, this is the reference. So if 2 astronomical unit means 300 million kilometers. So like this way we measure the distances within the solar system. We can also use by taking the unit of light year, because according to, for large distances where we cannot tackle with astronomical units also, so then we can take the help of light year, where we measure distance by the time taken by the light to travel in 1 minute, like this. Why does the sun appear larger and brighter than other stars which look dots in night and are invisible? The reason is very simple, the distance, the closeness. So the sun is the closest and the bright, it looks brighter because all the other stars, they are very far away as compared to the sun. During the daytime, the sun's brightness will make it impossible to see them. And as I told you, during the night also, if there is light pollution, then also it becomes very difficult to spot them. The nearest star after sun is Proxima Centauri. This one I already mentioned earlier. And the distance is about 269,000 times farther from us than the sun. So the first closest sun is the sun, which is 150 million kilometer away, and the next one is Proxima Centauri. And if you want to calculate the distance, just multiply 269,000 into 150 million, and then you will get the distance in kilometer. So that is the distance between the next nearest star and the earth. So this is all about the head of the family, that is the sun. We'll keep the discussion till here in this lecture. Up next, in the second part, when we will discuss, we will know individually about all the 8 planets. We have already known the basic from the video, but now we will study them individually, and also we will know about the other members of the solar system family. That means the comets, asteroid, meteors, how are they formed, what are their features, all these things. So that's all from today, and I hope that you got a good insight about this chapter from this lecture. Thank you for getting connected with us, and should you have any query, please get connected with the Fun Scholar Academy, and I will meet you soon with the second part of the lecture on this chapter. Till then, take care. Bye bye.